Alright, you got it. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of, I guess, niche movie review. This week we're going to be looking at the Crocodile Hunter Collision Course. Okay, so this movie had a budget of $13 million, and it's amazing that this film got put on and actually more than doubled its budget, okay? It's a successful movie, and it made over $10 million or $9 million in the box office the opening weekend. I watched it like a couple weeks ago, and then I had to review this because it just, I can't imagine why this movie was so successful, you know? So let's go! And, let's just play the damn thing, okay, go. Niche movie review. Let's get into it. Now, we're going to be looking into the whole movie, so spoiler alert, you know, don't get your panties in a twist or your balls in a jumble. We're going to go through this whole movie. So, you've been warned. Go ahead and watch the movie. Right now, it's illegally on YouTube at 240p, or you can buy the movie for $3 on YouTube. So every once in a while in the review, you're going to get sober Drew's opinion and then drunk Drew's opinion. Okay? Drunk Drew's. So we start the movie and already there's a good sign, okay? Instead of a lion, there's a crocodile greeting us in the intro. The movie starts out in outer space where we see a satellite orbiting the Earth for some reason. The satellite blows up, crashes down to Earth, and an alligator eats the hard drive. An American, it looks like the FBI or something, are very concerned. They want to get this, they want to get this hard drive back. It's gonna self-destruct.
It's critical. There it is. That's critical? That's not, like, catastrophic?
There's an explosion, and the crocodile hunter's on the case, okay? Like, what in the world were they thinking? There's an explosion in outer space. Hopefully the crocodile hunter won't mess us up, okay?
Looks like U.S. government has itself a problem.
Looks like U.S. government has itself a problem.
Of course he has a mustache.
Here we go. This is one of the biggest mind effers in the whole movie, okay? So I'm like, how are they going to integrate Steve Irwin into a movie, okay? They're just going to make this into an Animal Planet episode. That's it. This is just a big episode. And then there's movies in between the sections. Look, these fourth wall breaks are incredible.
Close. Not only can they run like blazes, but they can also scale these sharp rocks like it's going out of fashion. Now this is his territory. And up in there, he'll have a couple of good-looking girls, good-looking Sheilas, just waiting for him.
Cut to Steve Irwin, and he's doing like a wild documentary, just like his regular series. Okay, so that's what the most of the movie is, where Steve Irwin's going to be like in a documentary type scenario.
This is very postmodern.
Will you stop saying fucking postmodern?
No!
Scott, if you say postmodern one more time and take a knee in front of right here so the camera's recording you instead of you off to the side, I'm gonna.
It's a very post-structural Steve Irwin.
Improvement, but not
It's the same
still.
thing. It's the same thing, really.
The downed satellite collected sensitive photographic data. The equivalent of 1 million images worldwide are stored inside the hard drive of this, the black box.
A beacon. An alpha proton.
It's actually a dreidel.
Look at this thing. It's ridiculous. All right, just to be clear, the reason that this device is so necessary is because it has 1 million pictures on it.
Dick pics.
Okay. It has 1 million dick pics on it. I can hear you.
Here's my qualm.
What?
This is shaped like a dreidel.
How many pictures can fit on 10 gigabytes? Over 1 million, right?
No.
Really?
No.
How many?
I would say Wombo.
For mini, when it should be set to W for Wumbo.
Patrick, I don't think Wumbo is a real word.
How many pictures can fit into 10 gigabytes? We found our answer, people. It's about half a terabyte, so 500 gigs. Technically 512 or something like that. The actual answer is right now.
Whoa.
That's actually a racist term in Australia. Now we get introduced to probably my favorite two characters in the whole film. We got Brazzy and Sam. Now, Brazzy's like this big redneck lady who owns a bunch of farmland, and there's a crocodile terrorizing her cattle, I guess. Sam is like the DNR guy, and he's telling her, hey, you can't shoot this crocodile, okay? And she's not having it, and she points a gun in his face, and she goes like super belligerent, and she's a super fun character. Definitely my favorite two actors in this film.
Hard time on your own with the cattle, but...
You don't know anything about me and my cattle?
Look, I know you've been shooting up a storm on the river. Half a dozen people have called in to say so. Ooh. Brozzy, what you're doing could get you into a serious amount of trouble.
How come it's illegal for me to kill a croc, but it's not illegal for that same croc to kill my calves, eh?
So this movie has basically three story beats. We have Steve Irwin and Terry who are protecting crocodiles and doing their documentary thing. We have the CIA operatives who are trying to get the dreidel back, and then we have Brazzy and Sam. Now their relationship on screen goes something like this. Brazzy wants to kill the crocodile, and Sam keeps on telling her not to do it. Now, these three story beats are fine on their own. It's just interesting to mash them all together. And really, Brazzy and Sam bring those two worlds together. This crazy CIA world, and then this kind of more realish Steve Irwin and Terry documentary team. Brazzy and Sam are like the meat in the middle of this movie that like kind of bring the two together. I think without those two characters, this movie would actually fall apart right at the seams. This dog died a year later. It's so sad, and she's such a good dog. I think it's Susie or something. A lot of people don't know that the first episode of The Crocodile Hunter actually took place where Steve and Terry, well, it's their honeymoon. Their honeymoon is them catching crocodiles. And that's what this scene reminds me of. This is Steve and Terry catching a crocodile where Steve does some heroic jumping and they work together as a team to bring this crocodile in, and it's flippin' adorable. He gives her a little pat in the butt.
Look at that ass grab.
Because it possesses enough venom to kill 150,000 rats. But who cares? This bloke could have enough venom in one bite to kill 100 blokes my size. Look at the coloration. Beautiful.
Venom!
Again, Steve Irwin breaking the fourth wall for no reason. I cannot understand for the life of me why it's in the movie.
Look at this position. Look at this stance. Look at that stance. What does he need his arm?
We're gonna have a timer right here every time Scott says postmodern. So far we're at 2 right now. Might have been 3, okay? So Scott, please say postmodern as much as you can so I can have a fun timer, okay?
It's post-structural.
Post anything, I'm counting it. We've gotten through almost half the movie, and I realize I haven't introduced the 3 CIA operatives. So we got Robert Wheeler. He's kind of like the Italian hotshot, like too smooth, too cool for school kind of guy, okay? Then we have Vaughan Archer, which I don't remember hearing his name, but I'm looking at IMDb. So he's kind of like the more reserved buddy cop thingamajig going on here. That's like the good cop, bad cop kind of duo, okay? Then we have Joe Buckley. Now, she's kind of like the love interest of Robert Wheeler, but that's how they set it up in the beginning, and they definitely do not follow through with that, because at the end of the movie, nothing happens. These two, you know, nothing. So the Three Stooges head over to Brazzy's farm, where they're greeted by, well, Brazzy, and she's not happy to have them on their land, okay? This is kind of when the movie starts speeding up a bit. It starts ramping up the action, okay? So Steve Irwin's riding on top of a flipping boat. He looks like he's like surfing, and it's like crazy.
This bloke's going flat out like a lizard drinking. We're in for the ride of our life. Woohoo!
Holy shit! He's surfing on a boat trying to find an alligator. Okay,
Straight up there.
This is the main part of the movie when he's like there's an alligator. He's like trying. What are you doing? Oh, I broke it.
The thread is fucked up for sure.
Is it? Yeah. How does the thread fuck up? The microphone is fixed. Now we're gonna watch the rest of this bullshit. I think this is like 3 times as drunk right now. So let's start this bastard.
Jesus Christ.
This is, remember I broke
Get
the
your
mic?
hair on my fucking shoulder!
I broke the mic.
Leave it. You can look, but don't touch. Leave it.
Who is that guy in the picture? Who is it, people? Who's the guy in the picture right there that she was just looking at?
You tell us.
Why, it's no other than Sam Flynn. Flippin' Sam Flynn and Brazzi were married at one point. Now, it's not clear in the movie if they're divorced or what is going on there, but from what I can tell, I think in my own fan fiction, this is what happened. Sam left the farm to go on his DNR type journey. While Brazzi did not support his career path, they eventually started fighting and got separated. What's really interesting about this is that this was probably a plot device in the original script, as in they were going to put all this in the movie but didn't have time or didn't have enough budget to fully realize that. That's the problem with this movie. It's that there's so much, like, honestly, $13 million in this movie, and I just don't know where the money went. And they still didn't add this side character arc with Brazzi and Sam that's clearly intended to happen. And I think that's what my big problem is with this movie. Even though it's fun, even though it's super simple, I think that this movie had a lot more depth in it, and then they had to cut it down, edit it down into something dumber. That's what's sad. I think this movie had great potential for like some funny like character plots and some great in-depth looks into Brazzi and Sam, my 2 favorite characters in this movie that were totally glossed over. As a matter of fact, totally written out unless you pause the screen at the right moment to realize that a picture frame held a whole nother plot device in this. 3 oil cans, okay, and a bloomin' onion. Right there, here we go. It's almost as if we ordered this before. So this is like the end of the movie. Things are starting to ramp up. The CIA operatives are hot on Steve Irwin's trail. There's like a fight on top of a car. There's explosions. There's a woman flying like a hang glider thing across Steve Irwin's boat. And he like lassos this flipping rope out and like grabs it and turns it down. It's a bunch of badass scenes, really. And the movie kind of starts to end where the crocodile basically poops out the hard drive, okay? And Steve Irwin's like playing fetch with Suey. All of a sudden, there's like 12 helicopters ready to take Steve Irwin to Pound Town. But that's when the movie ends, and we get some cute little outtakes. Let's see what Drunk Drew thinks of this. What do you guys think of this movie?
Instant classic. You know, I've seen quite a few films in my time, and I think this film like really captures the zeitgeist of this decade and the previous. So, best film of all time.
All right, this is my opinion. This is my drunk opinion. This is the honest one. There it goes. I think that this movie had a huge budget that did not deliver on the budget. But what I do think is that they had fun making it. And I think that Steve Irwin...
Bless you.
Steve Irwin really captured what conservation was about with the budget that he had. I think this is the goal of the film, is to realize that there's a place for nature and that you can still have fun while preserving it. That's my opinion on what Steve Irwin did with this movie. It's not good. The acting was horrible. Yet, it's fun. It's a fun ride. Anyway, it's a bad movie, but a good premise. That's my opinion.
I think it's a great movie.
Well, those are my thoughts on the movie, but let's step back and talk about Steve Irwin's legacy for a second. When Steve Irwin died, well, his father said it best.
The animals have lost the best friend they ever had. And so have I.
It left a lot of people confused, and especially at the Australia Zoo, where to go next. Steve Irwin had a vision. He put all of his effort into conservation and having fun. And those two combined put a message to the whole world that conservation could be done effortlessly, it seemed. But just because Steve Irwin died doesn't mean that his legacy did. His son and his daughter are kicking some real butt in that field. I mean, Steve Irwin's son has been on late night shows, and he's just like his dad. And his daughter is all over the zoo and showing off the animals. So really, even though this movie wasn't perfect, I'd say it did exactly what it wanted to do. Have fun.